Morning, everyone. I wanted to make this video while I was eating soup because I thought it would be funny, but instead I'm making it out in the cold while walking some dogs. While I was eating my lunch the other day, soup, I had a thought where emotional dysregulation or going over threshold is like hot soup. So if I have hot soup, I can't eat it when it's hot because I will burn my mouth and it will affect everything else that I eat for the next couple of days. It's going to be tender every time my tongue touches that spot. I'm going to remember it's going to be uncomfortable, and then when I go to eat again, it's going to affect my ability to eat that food. And being dysregulated and going over an emotional threshold is very similar, because if our dog or us go over threshold, have a meltdown, have a reactive episode, anything like that, it lowers their tolerance for the rest of the day and potentially past that. It's going to leave a bruise, so to speak. They have to recover from that before we can return to normal activities. When I have hot soup, I have a couple different options. I can either wait until the soup cools down enough that I can eat it. I can take small bits of the soup at a time, and I can blow on that so that I can cool down that little bit at a time and still make progress on eating my soup. Or I could put an ice cube into it, and the ice cube will help cool it down faster. Now, the ways that I use to cool down my soup are very similar to the coping skills that we learn in therapy, that we use when we are dysregulated, but it's also like the coping skills we teach our dogs, okay? So when it comes to waiting for the soup to cool down, well, then I can wait for my dog to start to come down from that reactive episode on their own. I can give time. I can just wait patiently. That's one option. Or I can break this event, or whatever the trigger is, I can break it into smaller pieces, and I can practice them in smaller environments, in training environments, and I can do management, and I can expose my dog to the trigger without letting it get over threshold in a training environment, so that I can do it bite size at a time. Or I can do the ice cube, which could look like I'm interrupting the behavior and I'm using coping skills I've taught the dog, like getting their nose engaged, pattern games, creating a bit of distance, getting them thinking again, sensory push-ups, all that kind of stuff. I can use those to help the dog recover faster. But no matter what, I can't eat the soup if it's too hot, or I'm going to hurt myself. So when your dog, who is the soup, is too hot, or when you are too hot and you're emotionally dysregulated, your dog's emotionally dysregulated, too far gone, can't think, reactive, we can't learn in that moment. We're not going to have necessarily productive outcomes in that moment. We are doing damage control in that moment. We're getting out of that jam. We're helping them recover as fast as we can, that kind of stuff. No matter what, that big emotion has to cool down before I can eat the soup. So, just something to think about.